The next topic we're going to discuss, it relates to the kinds of property. Under the law, we talk about two major divisions or two major kinds of property. The first is real property, which is land and all articles permanently affixed to it, and personal property, which is all other property, anything other than real property. So once you understand what real property is, personal property is just everything that's left over. So with real property, we say it is the land and everything permanently affixed to it. So the soil, the minerals in the soil, the house that is built on a foundation that is affixed to the land, all of the components of the house, the water heater, the furnace, the windows, the floors, in this building, the walls here, these are all permanently affixed or attached to the land, and therefore they're real property. So once you understand that concept, then the understanding of personal property is a little simpler. It's everything other than that. So this screen is personal property. This camera that I'm recording this on is personal property. An automobile is personal property. Now, personal property can be tangible or intangible. You cannot have intangible real property. You can have a title to real property, which is intangible, but you can have tangible or intangible personal property. A great example of an intangible item of personal property would be an insurance policy, a life insurance policy, or an auto insurance policy. We know what it is that we're paying for. We know we're getting something that will protect us if the automobile is destroyed. But we don't have something other than the paper policy that proves that we have this personal property, this intangible personal property. The stock certificate that says you own a share of General Motors or Chrysler or Microsoft. You don't own an actual piece of any building. You don't own any piece of equipment. You own a part of the corporate structure, the corporate entity. So that is intangible. Now, what we're going to talk about here in this section and much of this book as far as personal property is the Uniform Commercial Code, which only applies to personal property. There's a separate law, the law of real property, that is a different branch. So the Uniform Commercial Code applies to personal property, does not apply to real property. This Uniform Commercial Code is a body of laws that have been developed by some very intelligent and involved people in the law of personal property. In the early 1950s, professors, lawyers, judges, business leaders recognized there needed to be uniformity across all of the United States so that how the law might treat something as far as a sale in California would be the same as Colorado. And so this learned body developed this uniform code, Uniform Commercial Code. They then took that out to each of the state legislatures, governors, leaders in communities, and they developed a rapport that eventually got this Uniform Commercial Code adopted in the states. Now, the Uniform Commercial Code, like it implies, a code, is broken into numerous sections that apply to various different kind of business questions and business exercises and customs. So as this code got adopted in the states, there were oftentimes some variations, but at the minimum, they kept the overall framework and structure so that you could say, well, what does Section 101D say in New York? And is that exactly the same in Colorado? If it is, then I know how things operate in New York under that code section, and I can be relatively confident that they would operate the same way in Colorado. So the Uniform Commercial Code has become a very important document as